Bellator Fighting Championships on MTV2 tonight from First Council Casino Hotel. First in entertainment, now present a heavyweight special feature set for 3 5-minute rounds. And now introducing first, fighting out of the red corner at 5'11", he weighed in at 257 1/4 pounds. As a professional, his record stands at 6-1 from Detroit, Michigan. Introducing Josh the Hammer Burns. Across the cage's adversary, fighting out of the blue corner at 6'5". He weighed in at 265 pounds even. He comes to the cage tonight bringing 6 professional victories against a single defeat from Prescott, Arizona. Introducing the American Soldier, Eric Prindle. Inside the cage, the referee in charge, Kevin Nix.
This fight is under the unified rules of MMA, so elbows to the head are allowed, both standing and on the ground. 2 very big, very powerfully built heavyweights.
Fighter ready, fight!
The bell in round number 1.
You know, both these guys are really good friends. They respect one another. That all goes out the window now.
Josh Burns is in the red trunks. Eric Prindle is in the black and gray trunks.
These guys literally had dinner together last night. They've been hanging out, texting one another. They're really good friends. They really respect one another, but all they know how to do is hit. That's their strategy. That's their strength. We're going to see a lot of throwing in this fight.
Oh. Kick by Prindle, and that's low. Time called immediately by referee Kevin Nix. Unintentional low blow.
That happens, man. You're going to kick, you're going to hit somebody in the junk. That's the way it goes. Let's see if we take a look at it real quick. Right here, Prindle throwing that leg kick, and bang, just caught the edge of the cup on the way in. That's what happens.
Now, Burns can take up to 5 minutes. I don't think he's going to take anywhere close to that 5 minutes of allotted time.
It doesn't look that bad, but one thing Burns is not doing, which is surprising me, is keeping his hands up. You imagine a guy with his boxing background would keep those hands high. They're very low. It's not good against a dangerous hitter.
So time in, round number 1 of this heavyweight fight continues. Jimmy, as you mentioned, 2 fighters that they don't just like each other, they're really good friends. They were hanging out.
Oh, good left hands.
As though they were teammates. They don't look like teammates right now. They are going after the victory hard. Burns just missing with the left hand.
They're smiling at each other. They're having a lot of fun.
Burns has trained extensively with Mark Coleman and Kevin Randleman. Prindle working with Josh Barnett and Neil Grove for this fight. Nice left hand by Burns.
Burns is reaching a little bit with that left hand, not stepping in enough on it.
3 punches forward by Prindle, all 3 eluded by Burns. Burns a bit on his bicycle.
I can hear Burns' coach saying, let that right hand go. I agree. I think Prindle's really vulnerable to the right hand, but Burns is not throwing it. Makes more content to go with the left hook.
Maybe the subplot of this fight is the
not a good left.
Prindle. Again, the first time that Prindle has not fought as a super heavyweight, that's north of 265 pounds. He walks at about 320 pounds. And that's Burns moving in quickly and shoved away by Prindle.
I saw Prindle just pushed him off of him.
It's amazing, Jimmy. You walk at 320 and you cut to 265.
That's unbelievable.
Burns weighed in at 257 1/4 for this bout. He walks between 255 and 260, so he just jumped on the scale.
As most heavyweights do. Not a lot of jabbing going on here. They like the left hook and the right hands, but not a lot of setup with the jabbing. Burns starting to bleed a little bit. I see some cuts around his face.
Burns bleeding out of the inside corner of his left eye.
That leg kick's a good idea, especially if your opponent isn't moving.
Straight left hand by Burns into the face.
That lead leg, the left leg of Josh Burns is so vital to get power to throw his punches. Good idea to take that out. Another good left by Burns.
Again, Burns is in the red trunks. Prindle is in the black and gray trunks. Into round number 1 of this Bellator feature fight in the heavyweight division.
Or as we could say, Prindle is the giant.
Or perhaps the bigger of the 2 giants.
That's a good point.
Good, powerful kick by Burns.
And they both just smile at each other.
Prindle now bleeding out of the outside of the left eyebrow. So both fighters cut.
You know, Josh Burns trains with Mark Coleman, the Hammer House, but hasn't really gone in for a takedown. Clinched a couple of times, but no double leg, no attempt to take this fight to the ground.
Burns felt that he was the superior athlete, had better agility, better speed. Burns said in our fighting meeting, my one concern, Jimmy, is that Prindle catches me with one shot and puts me out.
Burns has no neck. If you're looking at it right now, it's like his head and body are just one solid piece. Reminds me a little bit of old school wrestler King Kong Bundy, if you remember him, man. Just one solid mass. Hard to knock a guy like that out.
Jimmy Smith with the kayfabe, ladies and gentlemen. Swing and a miss with the left hand by Prindle. Uppercut by Burns. Both fighters throwing power shots. Two men with boxing backgrounds as amateurs, keeping this standing.
Not a lot of jabs either way. They're doing the kind of look at one another, not keeping the jab in one another's faces. And I think that's a good weapon, especially—
Good left hand by Burns. That rocked Prindle. Then Prindle sticks out the left. Sticks out another left jab.
He should be doing more of that. Flick that jab out. Keep the smaller guy away from you. And so far, he's not doing it. And with his height, knees are going to be deadly.
Good knee by Prindle, then follows with the punches.
Oh, good right by
Burns. Then a back fist. Prindle takes a step backwards. Burns pounces. Pushes his bigger opponent against the fence. Knee by Prindle on the counter.
Now you see the physical power of Prindle. He's just manhandling Burns when they're in the clinch. He's so good at moving him around.
Prindle went for the inside trip a moment ago, couldn't find it. Both fighters will fight to the bell, looking to finish strong, looking for another knockout shot.
You see Burns coming in with that left hook. Bang, right on the chin. More of a push. Wasn't a sharp left hook, more pushing Prindle back. Let's see here later on, that right hand right on the chin, followed up by a good left. I think that one hurt Prindle. First one a little bit more of a push. That second combination I think hurt Prindle.
Round number 2 of this Bellator feature fight in the heavyweight division. Josh Burns versus Eric Prindle. 3 judges scoring cage side for the Citizen Potawatomi Athletic Commission. Jimmy, as always, you have the unofficial scorecard.
That was a very difficult round to score. Another nut shot right on the top.
Another low blow. Time called immediately by referee Kevin Nixon. Now he's deducting 1 point.
Second time, even if it's unintentional, second shot, they're usually going to take a point away. See if we can take a look at it.
Prindle looks very upset, saying unintentional. He's pleading his case to us at our commentary position.
Yeah, right on top. But that's one of the differences in the range. Prindle has very, very long legs. Burns is very short and stocky. When he comes in, Prindle throws that kick. It's going to happen.
Again, Burns has 5 minutes to recover. Now, Jimmy, as a referee, there are 2 schools of thought. One is, do you look at intent or do you not look at intent? But if you're not looking at intent, you say, well, intent aside, that's 2 low blows in 2 consecutive rounds. Kevin Nix, regardless of his school of thought, taking away a 1-point deduction now on Eric Prindle.
Yeah, I definitely think Prindle is not a dirty fighter. He just caught him coming in. Anytime you're an inside leg kicker, you're going to hit the other guy in the cup. That's part of that strategy. You're here, boom, that flicky leg kick. You see it right now, bang, and he moves in. That's going to be right on top of the cup.
Again, these are 2 fighters that are close friends. They really like each other a lot. They've said afterwards, regardless of the outcome, winner buys the beers.
Now this is what Prindle needs to do, is throw that jab and angle. Lead hooks, lead jab.
Body kick there by Prindle. Burns answers back.
And this is what Burns needs to do. He needs to move in, close the distance, get inside his taller opponent.
See the underhook there by Prindle. Stands 6'5" to Burns' 5'11". MMA, clearly a sport above all of humility, of honor, of discipline. I've never met a more humble fighter in this sport. Jimmy, you and I are closing in on 1,000 fights called than Eric Prindle.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. A lot of respect for his opponent.
Burns extremely humble. Showed the humility, but Burns really talking as though he had the recipe to win. Prindle talked about, I might win, I might lose. We'll see what happens. When you face an opponent who is this powerfully built, and both Burns and Prindle meet that description, you know one shot can end the fight, no matter how skilled you are.
Easily.
Left jab by Prindle just misses the mark. Straight right hand by Prindle. That caught Burns.
Now Burns' output is slowing, and the problem with being the smaller fighter, you have to keep your output high. A good right hand, but followed up with a takedown that just wasn't on the mark.
Burns has the athletic pedigree. His dad, Gil, was the defensive tackle in the NFL, played for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, another good right hand.
Burns a moment ago inadvertently found himself in the three-point stance, got out of that quickly.
It was a little strange. He didn't hit him when he was down. You're allowed to punch in that position. He let him up.
Oh. Right hand, then the left by Burns. That staggered Prindle. Another left hand by Burns. Underhooks now held by Prindle with his back against the fence.
I don't like this strategy of Burns. That's twice he's landed a good shot and tried to take him down off of it, and it's killed his momentum. You know, I think he had Prindle at least back on his heels from those shots, and goes to take him down. The guy's just too big.
Burns now stepping forward.
And Burns looks very fatigued.
Remember, though, no weight cut for Josh Burns, Eric Prindle. Again, this is a man that will walk as high as 320 pounds, had to cut all the way down to 265.
Jab is easy now, it's just throwing it right at the eye.
To fight in this heavyweight division.
Another good jab. Another good jab. You know, it's one of those things where you look at Burns, and you talked about his gym. They called him, you know, a Mike Tyson-like fighter. You have to play Lennox Lewis. Keep that jab in his face.
Nice stiff left hand there by Burns. Blood again coming out of the corner of the left eye of Eric Prindle. Both fighters have been cut in this bout. Waist cinch now held by Burns.
And just taking somebody like that down is so incredibly difficult. Even if you do have that excellent Division I wrestling background, it isn't easy, and Burns doesn't have that.
Good knee a moment ago by Prindle. That backed up Burns and stood up Josh Burns. Left hand by Prindle. Back and forth we go. Closing stages of round number 2.
Prindle just being a lot busier right now. Josh is not really answering back.
Good outside thigh kick by Prindle.
Burns still trying to load up the big left hook and right hand over the top.
Left hook there. Now a lot of blood coming out of the left eyebrow of Josh Burns.
I can't see from here how bad it is. You know how badly sweat can make a cut bleed.
Both fighters cut in the corner of their left eyebrow, just above the eyelid. And believe me, you would rather be cut in the brow than in the lid.
So true.
Burns blinking a lot out of that left eye, unnaturally so. The blood really starting to affect the vision.
Well, the problem is that Prindle, I think, has clearly taken this round, but lost a point because of the low blow deduction. So even despite his dominance, this could be an even round.
Knee right on the button on the point of the chin of Burns, thrown by Prindle. Burns just shrugged it off. Closing seconds of round 2. Again, both men still looking for a power shot at the bell. Stiff left jab there.
And Prindle showing some better boxing in that second round, using his jab and his range, putting better punches together. See if we can take a look at... Doctor's still looking at the cut. It looks like they're going to continue to let it go, but he's taking an extra look at it right around the brow. Unless it gets into the lid, usually they don't stop it unless it's really, really deep, but it's entirely at the doctor's discretion.
You see the ringside physician talking to our referee, Kevin Nix. So big mouse under the left eye. The cut is in the outside of the left brow. And Burns also seeing a lot of swelling in that left eye.
We have outstanding cutmen in Bellator, but the doctor will not let it continue. It'll go down as a doctor stoppage.
Doctor stoppage TKO. Prindle looks more upset than Burns. These two close friends see a very disappointing end to this fight.
They both put a lot of heart into this fight, but the doctor's the one that steps in. You see Prindle just sympathetic for his friend. That's one of those things you never want to see a fighter lose on because, you know, it isn't their fault. He put up a good fight, but, you know, safety is a priority. Doctor stops the fight. Never want to see a friend lose that way, even if you're the one fighting him. See if we can take a look at some of those punches that caused that damage in the second round. A dominant second round by Prindle. You see it here. Good right hand right on the jaw. letting Burns up and teeing off that right, and that was the area that was swelling up, that area right over the left eye. Straight right hands, good knee. Those are right hands that opened that up. Good job by Eric Prindle.
What a reaction when the ringside physician officially stopped this bout. Josh Burns looked disappointed. Eric Prindle looked devastated for his friend and opponent.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just as a fighter, you'll take a win. You don't like winning that way, especially, you know, if you didn't slice the guy to death, if it wasn't a massacre, just one cut, a lot of times you don't want to win that way.
Jimmy, I don't know if it was the cut in the brow as much as it was the swelling of Burns' left eye. He was starting to swell shut.
Ladies and gentlemen, upon the advice of the cage side physician, referee Kevin Nix waves a halt to this contest officially after 2 complete rounds of action. The winner by TKO, the American Soldier, Eric Prindle.
Well, Jimmy, they said the winner buys the beer, so I guess Eric Prindle will be buying the drinks tonight. Eric Prindle now 7-1 in his pro MMA career. This goes down officially as a second-round TKO due to physician stoppage, 5 minutes. Eric Prindle defeats Josh Burns.